Today I'm going to show you just a little bit of the maintenance for the waterfall Paludarium. The light is quite strong in the room, so I do need to trim it every now and again. As you can see, the Vallisneria gets long very quickly, so the first part of the maintenance that I always do is just trimming that so that it's not too long. Generally you can see which bits need trimming. It's either the really long sections of the plant, or I tend to reach down to snip with my fingernails the pieces that need a little bit more trimming, just because it's easier getting to it with the hand than the scissors themselves. Sometimes it will be pieces that are brown, so that have actually started to go bad, or pieces that might have a significant amount of algae on them. Sometimes it's just easier to cut that off. We've got white cloud mountain minnows, the golden variety, in here. We've also got some zebra danios and some glow light danios. You can see that I took a small bit of the Vallisneria there out of the bottom of the tank from one of the runners and just replanted it in a different area of the tank. It can be a little difficult to get it in sometimes because the sand's quite shallow, and Geralt has a tendency to kick up the plants, but the Vallisneria seem to do quite well. They've got long roots. So I decided that that Vallisneria there was just a little too big. You lose sight of Geralt towards the back of the tank, so I pulled those ones up and then replanted the smaller Vallisneria rather than the giant variety. Just taking up some runners here, and Geralt was sat on the end of the runner, so it did shuffle him about a bit as I was trying to pull it up, but he's pretty used to me now, so he's not too bothered by that. Now here I was trimming back the Limnophila. Again, it's a little bit easier with your fingernails sometimes than it is with the scissors, so just taking off the tops here, and then we'll get it replanted in the substrate to make it bushier. Now I needed to move Geralt out of the way because he was sat right where I wanted to plant the plants, so just a gentle nudge with the hand just to get him to move slightly. And like I said earlier, he's got more used to me now, so I can kind of generally pick him up and move him about. So here I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I need to pick up off the bottom, and he's just totally sat in the way, so I needed to just shift him out of the way slightly so that I could do it. So just gently cut him into my hands and moved him out of the way. And like you can see, he's totally not bothered by it. He used to shoot around the tank when I did this, but he's much happier now. Here we've still got a little bit of cyanobacteria problem, so I'm rubbing the leaves and taking off some of the worst of them. They're a little bit looser in the soil, these plants, they don't root too deeply, so as I was doing this a couple of the plants pulled up, so I'll need to replant them back in. Just a bit of a general clean and a bit of a separation of the plants. There's a slightly long section there. I thought I might replant. Geralt running away. And you can see here I'm just tucking it back into the soil. That's just the bottom of the stem, there's no roots against it. You'll see a couple of times later that pops up quite often. And just replanting it. This is with the hope that Geralt will leave them alone long enough for them to grow roots in the bottom of the soil. Just giving the sides of the glass a bit of an algae scrape. I find that the longer razor blade works a little better for behind the plants and around the bottom of the substrate. This is my flipper float. I don't tend to use the flipper too much because the fish get in the way, but it does do a really good job of the glass. And now I've got a tiny little siphon tube, and this allows me to pick up the majority of the small bits of debris. Like I said, behind the log gets pretty clogged up with dirt, so this allows me to get right to the bottom without moving the log too much. It also allows me to pick up any of the cyanobacteria that is on the surface of the sand to avoid kicking it up into the water column too much. Again, tucking Geralt out the way. He really likes that back corner, so of course he has a tendency to poop there more than anything else, so it does end up getting a little bit dirty behind there, so I do need to give it a good siphon to just get up the majority of the debris. And doing it this way means that the sand doesn't pull up into the siphon very much at all. I tried using a bigger siphon because it does pick up more debris, but then it did suck up quite a lot of the sand. So again, moving the lovely Geralt out the way, or encouraging him, so I need to get round the front of that wood. He's such a derpy little turnip. He's a lovely little critter. I did keep frogs before, but they didn't really do too much, so it was kind of looking at painting half the time, whereas he's got such a little personality. He does seem to have left most of the fish alone. We have lost the odd one or two, but they've survived a lot better than the first batch did, so I think they've learnt to keep out of his way for the majority of the time. And we've got the emergent plants. So the maidenhair fern, which is the one you can see me trimming here, does have a tendency to go a bit wild. It absolutely loves that position. I usually start trimming quite carefully and only taking the odd bit off here and there, and then I have a tendency to just realise that it needs a good haircut and cut off some of the much larger leaves. So it does look a little bit barren after you've first done it, but very quickly it grows back in again and bushes right out. You can see over the left hand side the asparagus fern. It's doing well, still looking healthy, but it doesn't grow quite to the extent that the maidenhair fern does, so I only tend to occasionally trim that when bits and pieces start looking a bit strange. The peace lily had flowered, so there were just a couple of little stems that I wanted to get out. So this is my electric pump. It works really well for filling the tank. I have tried using it previously for actually taking the water out of the tank, but to be honest, it has a tendency to suck up too much of the substrate. So I've taken to using the little siphons to get the water out and the electric one to get the water back in. Just popping a little bit of water conditioner in here and then a little bit of AccuClear. As you can see, the flow's not great for this far end of the tank, so it does look very misty. The aim is that the AccuClear actually kind of gathers the particulates in the water into larger clumps so that they will eventually settle. So yeah, you can see that the tank looks far cleaner now. We've got a little bit more visibility towards the cave ends so that if Geralt's tucked in there I can feed him, but generally it looks a lot tidier and a lot cleaner. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe for more content, and we will see you soon.